I'd like to call this tale 6 feet heartbeat under gentle. Ever felt buried alive in bullshit that you just had to wake up? It felt like your whole world was collapsing? For Leilani, it literally did. Now picture this: Long Beach, California. Not the gritty parts you see on TV, but the upscale, waterfront high-rises where the sun glints off the glass and the ocean breeze whispers money. This was Leilani and Sekka's world. They were that couple, the power couple. She, a celebrated art curator with impeccable style. He, a charismatic real estate mogul with a smile that could sell you the sky. In the public eye, they were untouchable, the definition of black excellence. But behind the closed doors of their penthouse, the foundation was rotting away. Music becomes tense. A low, ominous hum begins to build a rot at a name. Roxanne. She was Sekki's ambitious, younger associate. And his mistress, Leilani, wasn't stupid. She felt the shift. The late nights at the office, the scent of a strange perfume on his custom suits. The way his eyes would glaze over when she spoke. She was planning to leave. To take her half and build a new life away from the line. But Sekki and Roxanne had a different plan. A much, much darker. It started with a glass of vintage wine at a celebratory dinner. A toast to their future. But the wine was laced. Not with love, but with a rare, paralyzing poison. Leilani's world went blurry. Her limbs grew heavy, and then blackness. But she didn't die. The poison was potent, but Leilani's will to live was stronger. She fell into a deep coma. A state so close to death, the doctors were baffled. Sound of a sterile, quiet room, a distant flatline beat for Sekki. This was an inconvenience. He needed her gone, and the inherent insecurity. So he did the unthinkable. He paid off a morgue attendant. The plan was simple. During the embalming, a mistake would be made. An air bubble in the veins. Something to finish the job the poison couldn't. He tried not once, but twice. The first time, a power outage in the building stopped the procedure. The second time, a sudden emergency call pulled the attendant away just as he was about to start. Fate, or maybe something else, was intervening. Frustrated and panicked, Sekki called. He signed the papers, declared her dead, and had her body moved to the mortuary for burial. He chose the cheapest, flimsiest coffin he could find. The sound of dirt hitting the wooden surface, growing louder and more intense. Imagine waking up to absolute darkness. The air is thick, stale, smelling of cheap pine and damp earth. Your limbs are stiff, your throat is raw. That was Leilani's reality. Panic clawed at her, a primal scream trapped in her chest. But then, the panic subsided, replaced by a cold, sharp, all-consuming rage. They didn't just try to end her vibrant life, they tried to erase her. They buried her alive. She scraped, she pushed, the cheap wood of the coffin splintered under the force of her vengeance. She punched through the lid, dirt filling her mouth and eyes. But she didn't stop. She crawled out of her own grave, a specter reborn from the soil. No longer the graceful curator, but a force of nature fueled by betrayal. She didn't go to the police. What would she say? Who would believe her? No, this required a different kind of justice. A justice as deep and dark as the grave they put in. She watched them from the shadows. She saw Sekki and Roxanne celebrating their newfound freedom, spending her money, living in her home. They were laughing. Leilani's revenge would be poetry. It would be biblical. They loved the water, the lavish yacht parties that made them the talk of the town. So the sea would be there too. One moonless night, she put her plan into motion. She lured them to their prized yacht, the Leilani's dream. Oh, the irony. A forged business deal, and offer too good to refuse. out, far from the shore, the trap was sprung. The hunter became the hunted. The terror in their eyes when they saw her not a ghost, but flesh and blood and pure, unadulterated fury, was more satisfying than any wine. She wasn't going to just 187 them. She made them feel the same claustrophobic terror she had felt. She was going to bury them alive, not in the dirt, but in the crushing, black abyss of the Pacific Ocean. A watery grave, sealed and sent to the bottom of the sea. Because some betrayals don't just break your heart, they awaken something inside you. Something that won't rest until justice is served. And for Leilani, justice was just beginning.